Greetings, fellow detectives. Wizard Kitten here, bringing you a new Nancy Drew analysis video. Today's video is brought to you by the patrons over at Mystique Manor and by all the official fellow detective channel members. If you too would like to support the channel and gain access to exclusive features, check out patreon.com/wizardkitten to become a patron, or click join next to the subscribe button to become an official fellow detective. Listen. When I love something, I love it wholeheartedly, comprehensively, and deeply. This is true for Nancy Drew, Disney, the Sims franchise, Cats, and of course, Taylor Swift. I've been a Swiftie ever since high school when Fearless first released. It's been so fun to grow up with Taylor and to have her there at so many momentous times in my life, just like Nancy Drew. I've always been able to count on the Nancy Drew games, and I've always been able to count on Taylor Swift. So perhaps today's video isn't really that much of a stretch because Taylor and Nancy have a lot in common, and I'm obsessed with them both. So when a handful of you lovely fellow detectives mentioned that I should do a Taylor Swift x Nancy Drew collab, I didn't need much convincing. Sit here and talk about two of my most favorite things of all time? Well, twist my arm, why don't ya? Today's question: what if every Nancy Drew game was a Taylor Swift song? As I went through the games and T Swift's albums, there were some games that I could almost immediately associate with a song, some that took some finessing, and some that straight up only fit because of the title. But ultimately, I'm pretty happy with this list. I'll also add that there are many Taylor Swift albums that didn't really work for this task, like 1989 and Folklore, because the songs are so specific to that vibe and therefore don't overlap much with Nancy's storytelling. I also will not be playing the associated Taylor Swift song because of copyright. And with all those caveats, let's get into the video. Secrets Can Kill and Thank You Amy from the Tortured Poets Department. I thought of a few different songs that could have worked for this game because of all the teen angst, drama, and rage, but Thank You Amy captures the bully at school vibes so well and even has a reference to pushing our heroine down the stairs of their old school. Considering the setting and the through line of fighting and revenge, this song is a perfect match. Stay tuned for Danger and Look What You Made Me Do from Reputation. Be honest, can you not see the culprit just screaming the lyrics to Look What You Made Me Do in the halls of worldwide broadcasting studios? This song is all about power and revenge, has so many references to stages and performing, and perfectly captures the anger of the suspects to fit the vibe. Message in a Haunted Mansion and Love Story from Fearless. An iconic game deserves an iconic song. Love Story is a Romeo and Juliet-inspired story of star-crossed lovers who desperately want to be together but have dozens of obstacles in their paths, including the opinions of others. What better way to describe the love story of Diego Valdez and Lizzie Applegate, the outlaw and the actress, who found true love despite their circumstances? Treasure in the Royal Tower and Bejeweled from Midnights. Diamonds are a girl's best friend, and they sure do sparkle. That's why Bejeweled is the perfect song for this game. It captures the lavish, glimmering, and rich lifestyle of Queen Marie Antoinette's history and also discusses the pain of trying to get someone to see you, but they continue to ignore you, aka Marie Antoinette and King Louis. You best believe she's still bejeweled. The Final Scene and So It Goes from Reputation. This one is purely because of all the magic metaphors. All eyes on me, my magician, my illusionist, aka Harry Houdini. It also has kind of a dark, edgy feel to it, which feels much like the vibes of the Royal Palladium Theatre. Secret of the Scarlet Hand and The Albatross from the Tortured Poets Department. This one might not seem apparent at first, but the albatross is all about warning others about dangers, much like a certain someone does in Secret of the Scarlet Hand by pilfering Mayan antiquities to protect them. It's also mainly about men and elders warning of a dangerous woman, which gives me major Scribe Amoxicali vibes. Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake and The Black Dog from the Tortured Poets Department. Yet another Tortured Poets Department song, but that's because they're all about storytelling. They work so well for this task. Anyway, the Black Dog fits here because Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake quite literally centers around black dogs. The Black Dog is also a pub in the song, so speak easy, anyone? I can also kind of imagine Vivian Whitmore singing this song about Mickey Malone, and I love that for her. The Haunted Carousel and Coney Island from Evermore. I'm actually not a huge fan of this song, but it hits the East Coast amusement park vibes perfectly. Fast times like a roller coaster, bright lights like neon signs, merry-go-rounds like a carousel. It's also about grieving the loss of a relationship, which I'm sure means that Rolf Kessler would absolutely be singing it about his beloved Spatsy. Danger on Deception Island and Willow from Evermore. One of my favorite games gets one of my favorite songs, and both pretty much for the same reason. The vibe is impeccable. Willow is so ethereal and feels exactly like wandering around on a foggy, misty island. The song also references ships, waves, and bottles, and also sounds like something that Hilda Swenson would sing to herself while puttering around her secluded island. Secret of Shadow Ranch and I Can Fix Him, No Really, I Can from the Tortured Poets Department. There were honestly so many songs that could have fit this game, but I ultimately decided this was the best fit. I Can Fix Him, No Really I Can is all about loving an outlaw that everyone thinks is dangerous and untrustworthy, but the heroine sees him for the angel he is and can't help but love him. She sees him for who he truly is. It also feels impeccably like the Wild West, and I can picture so clearly in my mind Frances Humber humming this song to herself while leaning across the bar and gazing into Dirk Valentine's eyes. Curse of Blackmore Manor and Who's Afraid of Little Old Me from the Tortured Poets Department. This song has risen to be one of my top 3 Taylor Swift songs of all time, so it needed a really good game. Both Curse of Blackmore Manor and Who's Afraid of Little Old Me are mysterious, powerful, dark, and spooky. Just picture Eleanor Penvillin sliding down the banisters of Blackmore Manor after all the townspeople called her a crazy witch, singing this absolute banger of a song at the top of her lungs. Yes, please. Secret of the Old Clock and The Lucky One from Red. I wanted something that felt like classic old Hollywood for this 1930s set game, and The Lucky One measures up. It's about a heroine who becomes glamorous and famous only to realize the drawbacks of such a life, and retreats to peace and tranquility out of the public eye. Just like the game, The Lucky One feels light, bright, soft, and ultimately hopeful, but calls to attention the dangers that come with fortune seeking. Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon and Timeless from Speak Now. Beyond the vintage and historical vibes of this song, which definitely reminds me of the historical train setting of this game, Timeless is also all about a love so powerful that it could be found no matter the time or place. This definitely makes me think of Camille Voulet and Jake Hurley, and their soulmate level love for one another. Their love also quite literally lasted through time, allowing Nancy to solve the case. Danger by Design and Paris from Midnights. Danger by Design takes place in Paris, France. Bam, no explanation needed. Except of course there is more than just that, though that is already a compelling argument. I jest, but Paris does quite literally reference the Eiffel Tower and champagne while telling the story of being so in love but keeping it in secret. Sound like any of our Danger by Design characters? I think so. Creature of Kapu Cave and Snow on the Beach from Midnights. This one is purely because it's about a beach, and in this game, we can explore a beach. It doesn't get much deeper than that, except that the song also sings about things being weird, but also beautiful, which I think is a fair way to describe this game most of the time. White Wolf of Icicle Creek and Back to December from Speak Now. Once again, this one is mostly just because of the word December, and this is the snowiest and coldest game in the series. That being said, this song is also quite a bit about regret and leaving behind someone who was good to you, which could sadly apply to the parting of Julius McQuaid and Isis. Legend of the Crystal Skull and Florida from the Tortured Poets Department. I went back and forth on this game a lot, but eventually thought this was the best fit. First of all, sink into the swamp and hurricanes are mentioned, capturing the swampy and rainy vibes. Florida the song is also really kind of epic and hard-hitting, which I feel like this game does a great job of too. I think Henry Bollé secretly loves this song, even though he would probably be pretty anti-Taylor Swift in general because she's too popular. He wouldn't want to admit to liking something so mainstream, but this song converted him. Phantom of Venice and Getaway Car from Reputation. I went with Getaway Car purely for the heist vibes. This song is basically a Bonnie and Clyde homage, and Phantom of Venice is the game that I think of most when I think of crime rings and heists. Getaway Car also has the through line of a man being in love with a woman, but she wants nothing to do with him and knows that it's not going to work out. Cough, cough, Colin Baxter. Sorry, man, she struck a match and blew your mind, but she didn't mean it, and you didn't see it. Haunting of Castle Malloy and Innocent from Speak Now. Innocent is all about forgiveness, even when someone doesn't deserve it. It acknowledges that we all make mistakes and are flawed, but we also have the opportunity to learn and grow from those mistakes. I feel like Haunting of Castle Malloy is kind of secretly all about forgiveness. Kyler forgiving Matt for his endless pranks, and Matt forgiving Kit for being totally smitten with his fiancé. Fiona forgiving her father for the explosion that ended their family. The sheep forgiving Nancy for their horrendous haircuts. You get the picture. Ransom of the Seven Ships and Message in a Bottle from Red. I kind of hate giving such a banger of a song to one of my least favorite games, but it just fits. Message in a Bottle is such an upbeat and peppy song, and even though it shouldn't be, Ransom of the Seven Ships is such an upbeat and peppy game. It also has literal messages in bottles floating around in the ocean, like T. Swift herself tossed them in. There are even poems in them. It's perfect. Warnings at Waverly Academy and Better Than Revenge from Speak Now. This is another game that had so many strong contenders, but I ultimately landed on Better Than Revenge. I really wanted a song that captured girl drama, and what T-Swift song could be better? Warnings at Waverly Academy is also all about anger, revenge, justice, call it what you want. But basically everybody is trying to get back at somebody at some point within the game. I also love this song and I love this game, so they're a perfect match. Trail of the Twister and Karma from Midnights. This is another song that I think matches the hidden theme of the game pretty flawlessly. Trail of the Twister is ultimately all about karma. If you put good energy into the universe and try to do good, then good things will happen to you in turn. In contrast, if you put bad energy into the universe and live with a sour, bitter resentment and think everyone is out to get you, so you do bad things, then you won't reap the goodness of life. We could try to tell that to the culprit of this game, but I doubt they'd listen. Shadow at the Water's Edge and Haunted from Speak Now. This is one of my all-time favorite Taylor Swift songs, and I think Shadow at the Water's Edge is deserving of the pairing. The ryokan is quite literally haunted by a vengeful spirit, and the song Haunted is about being haunted by the memory of someone who you thought you understood, you thought you were close to, and then they just emotionally ghost you. Ghosts, Yuris, and anger, because this song is such a good angry song. They all go together. Also, it kind of feels like Rentaro and Miwako's relationship, not gonna lie. The Captive Curse and Vigilante stuff from Midnights, because this is a family-friendly channel. I needed a song that could capture the culprit's thirst for revenge, and I think Vigilante stuff hit the nail on the head. It's all about taking matters into one's own hands to take down someone who definitely deserved it, which is certainly how the culprit feels in this mystery. It's also a dark, angry, and edgy song, which fits the dark and creepy atmosphere of Castle Finster marvelously. Alibi in Ashes and Bad Blood from 1989. I love Bad Blood because it's such an angry song, but it somehow manages to capture petty anger so well. I also feel like River Heights is so full of petty anger and long-held grudges, which again is so Bad Blood. Basically everyone in River Heights has some sort of small-town grudge against somebody else, to the point that a lot of people don't even know why they hate each other anymore, but they just do. It's all so small stakes, but it feels so much bigger, So now we got bad blood. What more can I say? Tomb of the Lost Queen and I Know Places from 1989. I had a really hard time choosing for Tomb of the Lost Queen, but I kind of think I Know Places fits really well. It's about a couple that is so in love, but they need to find places to hide from the prying eyes of others. Maybe they can find places to hide, like tombs, for example, that are so labyrinthine and intricate that no prying eyes could ever separate their love. Ramses II and Nefertari? The Deadly Device and No Body, No Crime from Evermore. This is one of the only murder mysteries in the Nancy Drew series, so a vengeful song about murder seems fitting. I do also love that the story of No Body, No Crime is all about justified and unjustified crime and whether justified crime even exists. Given the motives behind Nico's murder, I think this song just fits so well. Ghost of Thornton Hall and This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things from Reputation. The song for this game needed to be dark, epic, angry, and grand, so This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things fits perfectly. I love the imagery of throwing big, lavish, unnecessarily expensive parties at the beginning, which fits the ostentatious nature of Thornton Hall and its family. The song is also about envy, greed, betrayal, and breaking what once was beautiful. All themes that simply scream Ghost of Thornton Hall. The Silent Spy and Marjorie from Evermore. I basically always skip this song because it's so sad, which is why it's perfect for The Silent Spy. Marjorie is all about losing someone you love, particularly a maternal figure, wishing you could have them back, cherishing the memories you made with them, and keeping their memory alive. A more fitting homage to Kate Drew, I couldn't imagine. The Shattered Medallion and Down Bad from the Tortured Poets Department. Once again, I hate to give such a catchy, awesome song to one of my least favorite games, but this song has so many Alien references that there simply couldn't be another one for this game. Alien abductions and Sunny June go hand in hand. Labyrinth of Lies and Cassandra from the Tortured Poets Department. It may not be about Persephone and Hades, but it is inspired by the story of the Greek heroine Cassandra, cursed with the ability to foretell the future, but no one would ever believe her. She saw the destruction of Troy in her prophecies, but no one listened. For the Greek inspiration and the focus on heroines and tragedies, Cassandra fits Labyrinth of Lies perfectly. Sea of Darkness and Cardigan from Folklore. This one is purely for the vibes. Sea of Darkness has a glorious collection of sweaters and outerwear. Cardigan is about a beautiful cardigan. Yes, it's a metaphor, but it's also a cardigan. On a less literal note, Cardigan is also about a quiet, sweet love, which is how I would describe Magnus and Elizabeth's relationship. The game in general is kind of gentle and peaceful, so it fits. Midnight in Salem and I Did Something Bad from Reputation. I could definitely make some joke here about her interactive doing something bad by making this game the way they did, but that's not why I chose this matchup. I Did Something Bad is about judgment and includes references to narcissists, playboys, and burning witches, all of which are present in Midnight in Salem. It just feels good to pair these two together. Mystery of the Seven Keys and The Alchemy from the Tortured Poets Department. What better song for our newest Nancy Drew game than one about alchemy and chemicals combining to create gold? With alchemy being such a big theme of Mystery of the Seven Keys, this song seems like a necessary choice. It can even do double duty though because of all the football references, and which excellent boyfriend from this game just so happens to play football and is quite a catch? Why, Ned Nickerson, of course. So, there you have it, fellow detectives. 34 Taylor Swift songs for 34 Nancy Drew games. This was a fun challenge, balancing the literal titles of the songs with the lyrics and the vibes to find a perfect match. So, how did I do? What do you think of my choices, and what changes would you have made? What are your favorite Taylor Swift songs? Let a Wizard Kitten know in the comment section down below. If you really enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that like button or tipping me for the video with a super thanks next to the download button right beneath the video. If you would like to come join a fantastic group of fellow detectives at Mystique Manor as a patron for the channel, gain access to exclusive content, and support the making of more content like this, please check out patreon.com/wizardkitten. I also have channel memberships with exclusive badges and emojis to use during streams and in the comment section. If you'd like to support the channel by becoming an official fellow detective, click join next to the subscribe button. Please feel free to follow the channel on Instagram or Discord, linked in the description box down below. And as always, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more Nancy Drew and Cozy Game content. Thank you so much for watching, fellow detectives. I will see you soon.